Hi everyone, my name is Eric Abbey and I'm the Master Trainer for the Guest Service Gold, Tourism Gold, Oregon Edition training that you've expressed interest in participating in with the Oregon Restaurant Lodging Education Foundation and Ocva. I will be seeing you in a couple of short weeks here to help you figure out how to best integrate this into your organization. You have received some material from us, including the link to this video, this trainer's guide, a link to an online version of this training that you can watch on your computer as if you were a regular employee watching it. And and we will be coming together as a group to sort of work through the material together to figure out some of the best ways to deliver each of the elements and to learn from one another, really. We all bring experience into this, and so just figuring out the best sort of hooks and levers to help deliver the material in a meaningful way to your participants. The way this will work is you'll be assigned one of the 7 elements to present to the broader group as if it were an open classroom session. And then we'll watch you deliver your section. I'll deliver a section, and we'll get feedback from the group about what you like, didn't like, might change, do differently, and how to specifically maybe tailor it to your audience. So this is designed to help you best prep for that. And I just want to make one observation about the trainer's guide and the curriculum in general. It is a very robust training that's well designed, and it's able to be delivered in 3 different modalities or ways. One is the online version, just an individual taking it, watching it online, as you will be doing to prepare for our session. Another way is to assemble a group and deliver it in a classroom sort of setting or a banquet room or something, and you take a 4-hour block of time and you work through the material from start to finish and deliver the exam. There's another way of doing it that breaks it up into 7 distinctive chunks aligned around the elements. And that is for an organization that's maybe smaller or cannot maybe pull people off the floor for a 4-hour period of time, and you want to rather deliver it in chunks over periods of time. So you can probably understand, since you have some experience with training coming into this, how difficult it is to design a curriculum to meet all 3 of those modalities. They managed to do it, and this trainer guide gives you activities, ideas, directions for doing each of those different methods. So as you get your element assigned to you and you're preparing for our session to deliver that, and you're working through this tool to prep your presentation, you may be overwhelmed by how much material there is in there, and that's because it's designed to cover those 3 different modalities. You need not train every piece. It probably would not be wise to train every piece. So I would suggest that you pluck the activities out of each element that make sense for delivery in a classroom setting. I think it will be apparent to you which ones those are. If you have questions, you're welcome to ask me. Let me maybe help give you an idea of how to select the elements. The way I think it's best to deliver this training, in my experience, is to think of each element as about a 15 to 20 minute piece. If you go more than that, which frankly is easy to do if you have a chatty group especially, you're going to find you're going to extend the 4-hour time period that you need. So in order to keep you on track, I suggest 15 minutes, knowing you've got a little leeway of 5 minutes or so if you have a good discussion going and you don't want to cut it off. But so with that in mind, 15 minutes. To me, the best way to do this is to introduce or set up each element. The element is a word, knowledge, recovery, something like that. So I suggest setting that up. with the group saying, okay, our next element is fill in the blank. What I like to do is just to say, that's a good word. Why do you think we're discussing that word, that element in the context of customer service? And just kind of, allow people to participate and chat. And then I transition from that brief little discussion into the video that accompanies each element, which is a key piece. And I say, great, well, let's look at an example of this element in a different context outside of our organization. Here's a video from fill in the blank. Then you show the video, and then I would do a little debrief afterwards. What did you see? How was that situation unique? What were the key elements of service within that story that really highlight the element you're talking about? Inside the trainer's guide for each element, there is a section called Understanding the Concept, which is a good sort of debriefing guide that I use for that follow-up discussion after the video. And then for each element, there are a handful of activities. There's workbook activities. There are there's a video debrief. There's a personal challenge section where the employee can fill out and respond, take a moment to reflect and respond. So decide kind of which of those pieces you want to focus on, both for our session, and then be thinking about how you want to deliver this ultimately to your organization. And I want to point out the other key piece beyond the video. For each element, there is a formula. And that formula is pretty key to recover, to discuss in detail, and specifically using the bullet points and the wording on that formula. Because these are guiding the questions in the exam. So to help the students prepare for the exam, it's really important to use that. In fact, I often go around and ask people to read out the bullet points individually and just sort of reinforce each of those points. So to recap, for each element, you want to kind of introduce it and set it up. You want to ask, why are we discussing this concept as it relates to customer service? Then you want to show the video. You want to debrief the video. You maybe want to pick one of the activities in the workbook to go through, or you may have your own. And that's fine too. You need not use the ones in the book if you've got something specific to your organization. And then wrap up by discussing the formula to, again, prepare them for the certification exam. Since you're doing this internal to an organization, I would encourage you to look at the personal challenge element, not so much for delivery in our session, because it would be awkward in our format to be asking us to do the personal challenge, and not the best use of our time, as you'll see when you look at it. But I think it might be a good piece for you to plan for as you roll this out in your organization. You may want to come with some questions. You may have some questions that you want us to help you answer about how to best do that at our session. So you might focus on that a little bit in addition to preparing for your element, as we think about both delivering at our session and then looking towards your future sessions and kind of honing the scope of how you want to do this. Just one last point. The way the trainer's guide is set up is it's got the pages of the participant's guide cropped down into the trainer's guide, and then there's notes what do I want to say, kind of tips for delivering that piece, and then a place for you to take notes on your own. So that's how the trainer's guide is different than the participant's workbook. So I think with that, I will leave you to it and just let you know that I'm available to help as needed, and that I look forward to seeing you here in a couple of weeks down at the coast. Thanks very much.